Are you doing the wrong thing by trading CFDs? It seems like everyone's moving to futures at the moment, right? So should you be following the crowd? Well, in today's video, that's what we're going to find out. Before we think about why so many people are moving to futures, first I want to consider what the differences are between futures and CFDs, because there's quite a few. First of all, futures are way more regulated than CFDs. They're traded on centralized exchanges like the CME, and that means that you get to trade real volume data, unlike with independent brokers. With independent brokers, or CFD brokers, it means that you're trading based on their internal pricing feeds, which they're essentially making up. This means that you might see things like price manipulation, widened spreads, or maybe in news they'll slip you to hell. So in futures trading, you can see real volume data, which is a big deal if you're trading things like order flow or depth of market. That's not something you can get with a CFD broker. Another benefit of trading futures is that there's no such thing as swap fees, spreads are way tighter, and executions are way faster as well. There are a few negatives though. Now, when you're trading futures contracts, it's important to note that these contracts expire. So you're trading a monthly contract or a quarterly contract. Now, this isn't too big of a deal as long as you're trading intraday, but say you're trading positions where you're holding the trade for longer than maybe a week or even a month, this might be an issue. Futures brokers also have reduced leverage compared to CFD brokers, which are more unregulated. So this means that you're just going to need more money in your trading account in order to make sure you've got enough margin to cover your positions. So why have so many people started trading futures? What's caused this big wave of people to move over to futures? Well, in the US, it's actually illegal to trade CFDs, but until 2024, you could still trade CFDs through prop firms. US regulators needed a way to stop this. They looked at prop firms and they noticed that pretty much all of them at the time were using either MT4 or MT5. So what they did was they targeted MetaQuotes, who run these platforms. MetaQuotes then gave prop firms two choices. They said, we'll either terminate your MetaTrader license, or you have to ban prop services to all US clients. And of course, most prop firms chose the latter and decided to ban prop services to US clients. Since then, you'll even have seen some prop firms actually buying brokers in order to get their MetaTrader license and become regulated CFD brokers. We've seen FTMO buy Awanda, MyFundedFX have bought Seacrest and they've rebranded as well. And I think Blue Guardian have even bought a broker as well. It's also why you would have noticed a lot of prop firms like E8 Markets, they have MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 listed as Platform 4 and Platform 5. It's because they're not really supposed to be using MetaTrader. So this is the primary reason that most traders have started moving over to futures, especially in the US, because you literally don't have any other choice. Futures prop firms have started popping up now as well. There's Apex and TopStep, and they essentially dominate the US market because there are no other prop firm services.
Talking about prop firms, this video is actually sponsored by the 5%ers, which is a CFD prop firm and one of the best in the industry. I'll be leaving a link to them down below.
If this is something that's primarily just impacting US traders though, why are so many other traders from the rest of the world moving over to futures trading as well? Obviously there's the better trading conditions I described earlier, but I think there's a little bit more to it. The US kind of rules the world when it comes to consumerism. So if you're an influencer and you've got a course to sell, you're probably going to want to make sure that your course appeals to US traders. And I think this is one reason why a lot of people you've seen on YouTube in particular are now moving to futures, because they're trying to appeal to a US audience who they probably want to sell their course to. So what am I going to do? Am I going to start trading futures? Well, it's definitely been interesting learning about all of the advantages of futures when I was researching this video, but I'm actually going to continue trading CFDs for 3 reasons. First of all, futures trading platforms are pretty clunky. Tradeovate and NinjaTrader, I think they've still got a bit of a way to go before their platforms are as good as MetaTrader and CTrader, but maybe that's just me. Secondly, until recently there were no good futures to CFD trade copiers, and I've obviously got the majority of my prop firm funding with CFD prop firms, so being able to copy trade between futures and CFDs is really important to me. The reason I say until recently is because literally yesterday, Traders Connect released their Tradeovate integration, which is really exciting, so I may actually have to revisit futures in a couple of months depending on how that goes. My final reason for not wanting to move to futures quite yet is because I've spent the last few years building a track record with my CFD broker IC Markets, so it would be a shame to have to restart that. But that's just me. Should you trade futures? Well, if you're based in the US, yes, definitely. You should definitely trade futures. Otherwise, some other reasons to consider trading futures is if you're really big on trading volume, order flow, and depth of market, because obviously trading futures gives you a huge advantage there where you have real volume data. Futures probably isn't for you if you're trading with a relatively small trading account. If you're undercapitalized, you're going to need the larger leverage that CFD brokers offer. Another reason you may not want to switch is if you're quite happy with the broker you've got at the moment, if you feel that they're quite trustworthy and you've been using them for a while, I wouldn't rush into switching over to futures. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. I make videos like this around every 2 weeks, so if you aren't subscribed, make sure to join the club so that you're the first to see new releases. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Comment this emoji to show me that you made it to the end. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you guys.